Today we're on site in Chicago working on a vaulted roof structure that's a perfect example of everything that I talk about with my clients when they give me a call on the phone. It's got architectural features that make it really tough to have airflow. It has 2x10s, which with other forms of insulation doesn't really give you a lot of R value. And the worst case is that it had mold when we first got here. And we found it when we showed up. We had the client remediate it, and now we're coming back to finish up the job. So we're making this video so that you have some information that you can use to decide whether or not foam is the right choice for you. In our humble opinion, in almost every case where there's a vaulted roof structure in our zone climate, spray foam is the right choice. That's what we're going to take a look at today, Inside Lighthouse. Compromising on insulation or airflow is a recipe for disaster. And this project is a perfect example of the worst case scenario. We have architectural features that don't allow enough airflow to about 50% of the roof structure. We have not enough space to really get enough insulation with traditional forms of insulation. And we have the final result, which is mold. So we're here to remove that problem completely. We're gonna install closed cell foam on the underside of the deck, and we're going to take you along for that, and we're going to show you the process. It's pretty neat, so hopefully you get to enjoy it. And on your project, hopefully you decide to use foam, not because it's our opinion, but because it makes sense. So I just want to be super clear. Just because you have a vaulted roof line doesn't mean you're going to have mold. So what should you look for to determine whether or not you have mold? An obvious sign would be water stains on the underside of your drywall, or on the other side. It's going to start to come through. It's going to look brownish. A lot of people are going to think it's a roof leak. A lot of the times it's condensation. It's not a roof leak. You're going to start to see that more and more often. It's usually going to be at the extremes of the wall, where the exterior wall meets the roof structure, and it's going to be pretty obvious. Another thing would be if you start to smell mold. That's going to be a time to start changing stuff. Or during a renovation, when you actually take down your ceiling and you start to see mold like we did in this case. So what are the first steps if you do think you have mold in your vaulted roof structure? Step one is to have an air quality test done. Get somebody that's super qualified to come out to do a test, to maybe take some readings, maybe even remove a section of the wall to see if there's mold behind it. Step two is to begin to prepare for a renovation. with vaulted roof structures, we can't just install foam behind an existing wall. It's almost impossible to install closed cell behind an existing cavity. So you're gonna have to prepare to have that drywall taken down, and then you're gonna have to find a contractor, a spray foam contractor in your area that you trust to apply the foam properly. If you're in Chicago, we hope that you give us a call, but there's a bunch of qualified contractors all across the country and around the world, frankly. And they all are gonna take this approach. At least the ones that are gonna be worth it are gonna take this approach. They're gonna be cautious, they're gonna talk you through what you need to do, and they're gonna make sure that they do their job perfectly. The culture that we've tried to create here at Lighthouse is a culture of optimism and positivity. So we really try not to sell anything based upon fear. Don't be afraid. Don't think that just because our one client had mold, that you have mold. But be proactive and look at the scenario, look at the signs, and see if this is something that you need to pay attention to. What's really neat about this channel is that we can bring you problems that we solve every single day. We're hoping that this saves you a ton of time trying to figure out the right solution for your problem, whether or not it's a crawl space or a cold basement or a vaulted roof structure that has mold. That's what this channel is all about. We look forward to seeing you on the next project.